Let's look at the paperwork. It says ebony Windsor leather. That's a fancy word for black leather that's going to roast you alive and when you get out in the sun, but that's okay. Sedona red, that's a nice brown metallic. A nice looking color, as we'll see when we get the vehicle delivered. Here's what we're getting. Comfort and convenience. Safety and security. And even at 83 grand, there's going to be options. Heated windscreen, heated washer jets, headlight power wash. That's part of the cold climate pack, which we don't need in Arizona in the middle of the summer when it's 107 degrees outside. But what else? Air suspension pack, $1,600. Sedona red paint. Oh, credit on the paint, $800, whatever that means. Let's just cut to the chase. And there's a total tab, $86725 plus tax and license. And here's where it's made in the parts content. SVK, where is that? Slovakia? I'll look it up later, or you can look it up and tell me in the comment section. And here's the claim fuel economy. We'll take this out, rack up some miles, and see if these numbers are accurate, as we always do in our videos. So here it is, a very nice looking vehicle. And they call this paint red, looks brown to me, but whatever you call it, very sharp looking. What I like about the Defender, it only looks like a Defender, like nothing else, and very sharp. This is type of styling that will just last forever and never look outdated. And I like it when they put the spare tire on the outside, so you don't lose room on the inside. Of course, the disadvantage is if somebody rear-ends you, going to be a lot of damage, but you buy a car to drive or get wrecked. I like this setup better. And they trucked it all the way from New Jersey just for me and you. It's getting near 100 degrees out here in the sun, so I think it's time to go in the shade. So, the Defender, what are you getting under the hood? The base motor is a 2.0 liter, putting out 295 horsepower, 18 to 21 mpg, 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds, and the starting price of $59,000. Next up is the 6-cylinder like we have here. Not a V6, an inline 6, which is better design, smoother, quieter, better fuel economy. So if the inline 6 is such a superior design, how come you don't see too many more? It's because of the length. 6 cylinders long versus V6, which is 3 cylinders long. The inline 6 just won't fit in a lot of vehicles, but it fits in here just fine. 395 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. And we already saw the gas mileage on the window sticker earlier. I won't repeat it. And for those who need more, there's a 518 horsepower V8, 15 to 19 mpg, 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, but it'll cost you $129,000 to start on that one. Or for under $58,000, you can have the souped up V8, 626 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, out of my price league. Actually, this one is too, but this one makes more sense. One thing I like about the Defender, it's actually made to go off-road and do the rugged stuff, while the other Land Rovers really aren't. So let's take a look at all the features you're getting. Okay, the advertised ground clearance, 11.5 inches last time I looked. Press this for your drive modes. You have Eco, Comfort, Gravel, Snow, Mud Ruts, Sand, Rock Crawl, and Wading Through Water. Kind of hard to see with all the reflection we have on the info screen. It's a very sunny day. Crawl control, 4-wheel drive low. Here you have the air suspension that you paid extra for. It could raise or lower the vehicle. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we actually get out in the desert and do some off-roading. And we have a camera system for on-road or off-road. Again, which we'll be demonstrating when we get it out in the sticks. Press the 4x4 on the info screen. And your 4x4 information showing if the differentials are locked, your altitude, your bearing, vehicle angle. your vehicle angle, your low traction launch control. The only complaint I have, you're going to have all this gadgetry for off-roading. Why not get some good off-roading tires instead of these, what are, to me, street tires. These are high-quality Continental 22 inchers. I know it's a cross-contact. That means they're all-terrain tires, I guess, but if you're out where there's a lot of grass and mud, you'll be okay. But in the desert with lots of sharp rocks, I don't think these sidewalls are going to last very long. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'll find out the hard way. And I see we have the optional Land Rover lockbox on the side. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been provided with the key to unlock it. I can't show you what's in there at the moment. Maybe later. Oh yeah, and this door opens the old-fashioned way. Like so. Which is the way I like it. The only problem is, in Europe, where they drive on the left side of the road, this is fine. You can load everything without the door being in your way. In the United States, where you park on a curb on the right side of the road, the door is in your way when you're unloading. Should open the other way. So now when you're unloading something, you gotta walk all the way around. Not a deal killer, kind of inconvenient. Oh yeah, here's the air pump system for lowering your tire pressures or raising. That's the air compressor. I believe the hose is in here for refilling. And they give you a portable washer here for, I guess, washing down the vehicle or washing down your buddy because he didn't take a bath today. I do have one serious gripe with these door handles. They look like something off a 1940s refrigerator. It's very easy for your hand to get in there and get pinched if you're not careful. Both there and here. It happened to me once. This is really an outdated door handle design. Porsche used a similar system on some of their vehicles, and I mentioned that in a video, and they banned me from ever getting a Porsche again. Those picky Germans. You're banned, schnell! Oh well, too bad for me. And of course we get tow hooks. It amazes me on 4x4 pickup trucks we get nowadays, a lot of them do not have tow hooks. Even if they have all the off-road package stuff on them. Are you listening, Toyota? Let's go ahead and do some driving. I really love this camera system. It stays activated while you're driving. Neat setup. Let's try another angle. There you go. This Defender is very comfortable to drive in city traffic for the most part. The only drawback, these giant 22-inch wheels and tires do an awful lot of thumping. You hear it inside the cabin, but it's not really that big a deal. Your suspension does a pretty good job of absorbing most of the impact. The build quality is great. No creaking or rattling. Thing's built like a tank. But that's what we're paying for. And I love this inline 6 engine. Gobs and gobs of power, plenty of torque. I don't think I need a V8 under the hood. And being inline 6 is a lot smoother and quieter than the common V6s we get stuck with today. Inline 6 is a far superior design. I wish we had more of them. I never get tired of watching this camera. It's really a cool setup. Maybe I'll be bored with it by the end of the week, but it's not the end of the week. Just a couple of things I've noticed driving this for a couple of days. It's nice to have a volume knob for the sound system, but kind of weird they put it over where the passenger can reach it, and slightly out of reach for the driver, but better than not having it at all, so I guess I shouldn't complain. And number two, I'm not a fan of these info screens. This one is kind of a nightmare to use at first, but once you learn everything, it's not too bad. But at least, thank you, Rover, for keeping the climate controls separate from the info screen and giving us some simple knobs and buttons. The climate control system should never, ever, ever be on an info screen, because if the info screen fails, you got no climate control. So if you're driving out in 20 below zero, I'd like to have some heat. And here, if that happens on the info screen, at least I'll have some heat. so I won't freeze to death. And the system's pretty simple to use. And you can shift manually, even though there are no shifters on the steering wheel. Just plop this over on the left and use the stick. Oh yeah, and this Meridian sound system is first class. I don't know how many speakers it's got, but certainly enough for me. Normally I would expect an air suspension to absorb impacts on a rough, nasty road like this, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I'm feeling a lot of shocks and impacts in the cabin. I think I can blame the giant 22-inch wheels and tires for that. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that they offer anything smaller. Not in the 6-cylinder anyway. And there's the camera operating, showing both sides of the wheels. This Defender's not too wide, so it's narrow enough to fit in these narrow trails without getting all scratched up. And surprisingly, driving on these back roads for the past 45 minutes, we're getting around 21 miles to the gallon. Pretty good, I would say. Better than what I was getting on the pavement. Gotta stop by the ranch house, get some supplies, and we'll finish our ranch patrol. I think we need a new roof. I love the 6-cylinder engine. It's got gobs and gobs of low-end torque for climbing steep grades like this. Or steep grades we were, that is. Come on, hurry up! Ain't got all day. God, hired help is so hard to find. It's worth anything. Pay you $4 an hour. Have you shipped back to Valenzuela. Well, we started our ranch patrol around 6 in the morning, and that's around 10. This is a pretty capable SUV and pretty capable off-roader. They did a very, very good job. I like this vehicle. Well, you better if we had some different tires, but that's okay. These will do for now. Let's look at some fuel economy numbers. Kind of hard to see on this screen. I can see in person, but we have a camera. The sun reflects, kind of washes everything out. When the car was delivered, it had 307 miles on the clock from a previous driver, 27 miles per hour, mainly mixed commuting, 17.7 mpg. Now let's take a highway trip, see what type of numbers we can get. This is a very heavy vehicle, very solid, no rattles, no creaks. Great stability and high speed, even with high winds like we have today. That's the good news. Bad news is this thing's shaped like a brick. A lot of wind noise, especially on the side panels. Not the most aerodynamic body I've ever used, but no big deal. It's an off-roader. You'll get used to it. End of the road, let's pull over, read some numbers. And I got some glare here on the gauge cluster, so let's go to the info screen. 82 miles, 22.2 mpg. Says the average speed is 69 miles per hour. Actually, we're doing 75, but because we pulled off and did some slight city traffic, knocked it down to 69. Let's get on the freeway and do one more trip. A shorter one at lower speeds. See if we can bump up the numbers just a wee bit. I've heard a lot of stories about the windshields on these Defenders being fragile. If you live back east where there's no gravel and sand, you'll probably be okay, but here in the desert we do have gravel and sand and trucks kicking it up. In less than a couple hundred miles of driving, I already got some small chips on the glass, making me very nervous every time I get near a truck, especially. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. We were doing 75 on the freeway, but we got in the expressway. We're doing just around under 70. Hopefully that'll bump the MPG numbers up. Maybe. Well, 22.6 MPG for our 26-mile trip. Slight improvement, but not by much. I think this is the best we're going to see. Alright, 73 miles of mixed commuting, 50% highway, 50% city, 19.1 mpg. Not bad considering the weight of the vehicle and the horsepower under the hood. I'm not complaining. Before we wrap up this video, just a comment about air suspensions on these expensive SUVs. On the positive side, you can raise the ground clearance with such a device, allowing you to get into rough areas you ordinarily wouldn't be able to go into. That's the good news. Bad news is if the system fails, you lose your ground clearance. How are you going to get out? You're not, and that's why I like to avoid air suspensions that raise or lower the vehicle altogether, unless you're using it for the street. But what do you need on the street for? That's just me, maybe not you. I love this Defender. It's great off-road, but I think I just keep the standard unit without the air suspension. There's enough ground clearance as it is. As far as value goes, the 4-cylinder Defender, just under $60,000, might be a good deal. The problem is, you just never find a Defender on the dealer's lot priced near $60,000. They're all loaded up with goodies. So by the time you're all done, the 4-banger might cost as much as the 6-banger, so I say go with the 6. It's all the engine you really need. And yes, a V8 would be nice, but 130 grand for the V8 and 160 grand for the more powerful V8, out of my price range. If you could afford it, hey, go for it. Overall, this is a very nice vehicle. I'm very impressed, and I hate giving it back. Since you're already here, you might as well click on the night drive and headlight test we did. There's a link coming up.